African-American voters helped Joe Biden to secure the Democratic nomination. Plus, Pete Buttigieg makes a stop in North Carolina. Will that help him gain support?
Team Rising is here. Deshandra Jefferson is a Democratic strategist, and Holly Turner is a Republican strategist, previously worked for the U.S. Small Business Administration. Two great friends of the show.
Indeed. Great to see you, ladies.
Okay,
so we had great Thanksgivings, I trust.
I hope so.
Excellent.
We have this amazing new graphic from the New York Times. Basically, we're going to put the headline up on the screen, but we're checking it out here. And it's basically the delegate tracker, Deshandra, and it shows how really negligible, honestly, Iowa and New Hampshire are in terms of the number of delegates. Over 1,200 delegates will be placed March 3rd on Super Tuesday. So it's the candidates who can do the best with multiracial coalitions that are really going to cinch the nomination. And it's something that you don't really hear about in the media. Who do you think is best poised to win this?
Well, right now it's Biden. And you know what? There's a lot of irony behind that. Listen, we have the old white guy who opposed busing, who, you know, got beaten over the way he treated Anita Hill. And now he really needs a black vote to help get him through. I mean, Iowa's a nice, you know, story. So is New Hampshire. But really for Democrats, you know, it comes when we get into South Carolina and Super Tuesday and actually also Nevada, where you really start to see who has the best staying power.
That's the main thing.
I thought what was interesting in this piece, too, is they talked to Cornell Belcher, who's a pollster, and I think there's a lot of magical thinking among some of the candidates that if we just win Iowa, then like Obama, then black voters are going to come to us. Well, Cornell points out there was a lot of work and building that was done. It didn't just happen. There was barbershop and beauty shop program. There was a lot of working from the grassroots in the African-American community to create that moment where when Obama had the momentum, people said, okay, we can go with this guy now. I don't see that happening for Mayor Pete, who we're going to talk about a little bit more here in a moment.
Yeah, and I think to look towards South Carolina, and especially Super Tuesday through today's lens, is like we just don't have a clear picture.
Yeah.
Like, what is it going to look like at the end of February when the House has voted to impeach? The Senate is holding hearings. They're holding a full trial. They've got Hunter Biden in front of them. You know, who knows who's won these states? But how is Biden? How did Biden come in second in Iowa, or third, or fourth? Like those things all affect how people view his likelihood of succeeding. And he's got a cash problem right now as well. So we don't know what it's going to look like.
That's actually a good point on the cash and Super Tuesday.
That's right. He is weak, but his name ID is so high. His it really is up on everybody else to build a better organization. I don't really see that. I mean, you have Elizabeth Warren around, what, like 12, 13% amongst black voters, same around tied with Bernie. Even if Biden loses, let's say, like 10%, he's still got 50% of the vote. I mean, it just seems, Deshandra, that he is so well poised, not to maybe cinch the nomination, but sprint so far out at the top that at the very least, if he's not the nominee, it guarantees almost a broker convention by Super Tuesday.
I'm not going to discount a broker convention at this point anymore, and that scares me to say that. I mean, heck, we got, you know, Deval Patrick jumping in, you know, Bloomberg is jumping in, you know, anything can happen. So I do agree. Anything can totally happen between now and then. But money's a real issue.
It is.
You know, he cannot come up broke before Super Tuesday.
No, he's not.
And he's making a lot of missteps on the campaign trail.
Let's not forget, though, he's got Super PAC money behind him. They're very well poised in order to blanket the airwaves ahead of Super Tuesday. So even if his campaign is not doing well, a couple millionaires or billionaires can very much fill in and color in the lines.
And he does have a number of billionaires behind him in that Super PAC who would fill in the gaps.
Are they going to have the confidence to write those checks and to continue to write those checks? Again, Bloomberg. Like there are so many, and now Mayor Pete is rising. So that's a lot of money, and it's real money to them, and they're willing to spend that money if there's a pretty clear path towards victory. But if there's not,
well, the other wild card. I mean, look, if I think that this race more and more is shaking out to the two ideological polls, Bernie Sanders versus Biden, and they're the two candidates that have the most diverse support. Bernie is not doing particularly well among older African Americans, but he's often the second choice, so he's well positioned there. Were Biden to fall, and if it came down to those ideological polls, boy, let me tell you, the billionaires were ponying up for Joe.
Yeah, I think that's true. All right, so we also have Pete Buttigieg. He's trying to basically he's basically trying to make up some of the support. He's making a southern swing. He's going through South Carolina. He's doing a lot of the circuit. I mean, ultimately, Deshandra, I think he could pour as much money as he possibly wants, and even then he might only get to like 5% in South Carolina amongst black voters. He's at 0%.
You're really being optimistic. I haven't heard that from you.
Not even 5.
I mean, listen, he lost me a long time ago, and I do want to say one thing that's been irritating me about his campaign. They keep saying, well, black voters are homophobic. We're too socially conservative. Well, I don't know if we're even more socially conservative than the population as a whole.
Correct.
But he has made a number of missteps. He keeps making a number of missteps with the black vote. He has shown in his own hometown of South Bend, Indiana, that he has poor relationships there. And he leads to the question, do you really care about the black vote? Did you wake up, decide you want to be president? Oh, wait, now I got to talk to these people I have been ignoring all these years.
That's exactly right.
Right. I think you're exactly right. We have a little bit of him at Reverend Barber's church down in North Carolina. Let's take a listen to that.
I have to confess that I was slow to realize. I worked for years under the illusion that our schools in my city were integrated because they had to be, because of a court order. But what I slowly realized was that while that was true within the limits of the South Bend Community School District as they were drawn, if you looked at the county, almost all of the diversity of our youth was in a single school district, which is ours.
What did you think of that? Take a sip of water first. Compose yourself. What did you think?
That's one of those bless your heart moments. And you think you're going to be president?
Yeah, right.
I mean, like the audacity. I just, we've had a long storied history of racial issues, racial strife in this country. How are you going to come from South Bend, Indiana, with a population of 100,000 people, and come in here and think you're going to lead the country and think that you're going to have a diverse coalition behind you if you haven't done the work already? I am tired of people thinking they can follow the Obama playbook. It was a unique playbook. It's done. It's, create your own. If this was a goal that you had.
He was a U.S. Senator, for the record.
And Mayor Pete is no Obama.
He was an organizer.
Right.
He was an organizer, and we cannot forget that. He was a
Such
community
a great point.
organizer. Pete Buttigieg, nice resume. He is great on the debate stage. But there is no there as far as black voters are concerned, and he can't make that happen overnight.
The fact that he faked black endorsements tells you everything you need to know about the sincerity, I think, of his approach.
But that's been his failing all along, and it's not just with that sector of voters. I mean, it's just all across the board. He's just not genuine. And voters don't like that. And I think this little pickup in the poll, I don't think it's going to last.
Look, even if, and this is what we've been sort of cautioning our viewers about, right? Even if he does well in Iowa and does well in New Hampshire, doesn't mean anything. And again, coming back to looking at the delegate tracker, if you don't have any support in the black community, very little support in the Latino community, that is not just going to flip overnight, and you will not win. You will not be the Democratic nominee with 0% black support.
But you also have to look at, this is the most diverse field we've ever had, and it's a huge field. You know, maybe like Michael Dukakis, I believe, had scant support from the black community. Well, where is he now? But look at Pete Buttigieg. You're not going to get out this primary. You're not going to get anywhere close. Again, he's a great debater. He's wonderful on the debate stage, but there is no there.
Right, and that's the thing is in 1988 they didn't have a Joe Biden who has 60% of the black support, and even more so in South Carolina. So it really is just one of these things where he is just not well poised. I mean, all you have to do is take a look at this chart. I encourage everybody to go look at it, and you're going to see a very different story than what the media is telling you.
Indeed. All right, ladies, stick with us. More right after this.